A new poll now suggests Ottawa-area MP Pierre Poilievre remains a frontrunner in Canada's Conservative leadership party race, with the support of 44% of Tory voters. For more on this, we welcome CTV News Channel senior political correspondent Mike Couture. Mike, thanks so much for making time.
Thanks very much for having me.
So, Mike, this is the first poll Leger has taken since Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown was disqualified. Has that impacted support for Poilievre at all? Walk us through the numbers here.
It's a really good signal of where his supporters may have gone, and really a good snapshot of where we are in the race. But I think what's also interesting about these numbers is how it compares and contrasts Poilievre's popularity within the party and then his electability as the Prime Minister. So have a look at this now. These new stats that came to us from Leger essentially showing that you have Pierre Poilievre, the clear choice of Conservative voters, with 44% of respondents to this specific poll preferring him. Jean Charest, only 17% support among Conservative voters. Also, just pointing out here, 22% there at the bottom say they don't know. And that's significant as well. Maybe a signal that the Conservative race isn't fait accompli right now. But then when you compare that now and take a look at the blue bar, which is how respondents feel, and it represents the general public. So there you see that the former Quebec Premier, Jean Charest, has 22% support, and the Ontario MP only at 16%. Perhaps a signal, and this is sort of playing into Jean Charest's narrative, that he can win the election. And he had said in last week's debate that the Conservative Party of Canada is really the most generous party, political party, in the history of the world, because they continue to hand the Liberals elections. So Chanel definitely playing into his narrative there, but that's the question, though. Who will come out on top as the choice of the Conservatives, and will they be electable by a general in a general election here in Canada? That's the big question, and that's what these numbers are showing, is two different answers.
Yeah, this is a very interesting idea, being electable as the Conservative Party leader versus being electable as the Prime Minister. So how may these new numbers, Mike, shape Poilievre's approach in the next couple of weeks, given the numbers show that he doesn't have the same broad appeal?
Yeah, it's interesting because you wonder, will it be a change in the next couple of weeks, or will it be after that? Does he look at this and say, I will get elected as the leader, and then do, like a couple of other more recent cases that we've seen, Conservative leadership, not only hopefuls but also winners, pivot then? So you had the most recent example of Aaron O'Toole. In 2021, he wins the Conservative leadership, going as what he called a true blue Conservative, so a little harder to the right. Then he brings himself closer to the middle of the political spectrum during the 2021 election, and that was a bit of an issue for him, because the Liberals really tried to sort of point out that difference and saying that you can't really tell who Aaron O'Toole is, because he campaigned as one thing during the leadership campaign, campaigning as something else to the general public. The one benefit that Pierre Poilievre has right now is that NDP Liberal supply and confidence agreement. The reason? It is supposed to last until 2025, meaning we won't have a general election for roughly 3 years. So that could give Pierre Poilievre enough time to pivot a little closer to the center, maybe make him a little more electable to Canadians, certainly appeal to more people if that's what these numbers are showing. Then again, when you look at his election campaign right now for the leadership, he doesn't seem like he's going to move from that right-hand side of the political spectrum just yet.
Okay, some really interesting numbers there. Lots to follow. Mike Couture, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate this.
Thanks for having me.